here's an example of how lack of health policy, it could have been a disaster, but what happened turned into a good thing. When I was working in Kosovo, one of my doctors came to work with rubella, broken out in spots, and she said to me, "I think I have rubella." And I thought she was making a bad joke. I said, "You know, you had your shots, right?" And she said, "No, Miss Nancy," they'll call me Miss Nancy. "No one gets shots in my country. We haven't been able to." And it was one of those horrible, my heart stopped, and I looked at her and I knew it was rubella. It wasn't an allergic reaction to something, it was rubella. And as it turned out, it was, when we did all the blood testing and so forth. I won't go into all the details, it would take a whole hour. Everything that happened, though, a lot happened because of this. My medical team was quarantined, we had to track down every patient we'd seen, we had to do blood tests. Now, blood tests 2 weeks later. It turned out that, to my knowledge, not a single woman was affected, probably because the lack of immunizations. They'd all had rubella when they were little girls, hopefully. It could have been horrible, though. We had the potential there to cause numerous women having birth defect babies because the babies, the mothers are vulnerable to infection before you see the spots. So what happened because of that, though, because of that incident, and because I was kind of a stubborn nurse that was not willing to sweep it under the rug as I was instructed to by one of my superiors, I made a lot of noise and got CDC involved and World Health Organization got involved. But because of that, immunizations came to Kosovo. They probably would have come anyway, along with all the changes that were coming sooner or later, but they came sooner because this happened. So sometimes you have to stand up and take a stand, even if it's a scary thing to do, even if you're the only one, even if you're the little boy saying the emperor wears no clothes, because that happens sometimes. I think here in the States, one thing nurses can do to change policy, first you have to do is examine your own beliefs and what is it you want changed and why. And the second thing you have to do is get involved politically. Grassroots, get involved in your community, what's going on at the state level, at the national level, at the international level. Be aware of what's going on, what's being voted on, what bills are up. How do you feel about them? Really study so you understand them, because sometimes just the title of the bill doesn't really tell you what it is, sort of thing. So I think it's important. It's a responsibility, I think, for nurses, well, for all professionals, for all people. If we want to be, if we want this country to be we the people, then we got to be the people and get involved.